Have you ever stood in prayer and suddenly felt everything is wrong? Do you wake up at 2 a.m., heart heavy, mind restless? Do you see someone else succeed? And then everything in your life starts falling apart? Let me tell you something clearly. If you ignore this, slowly, silently, you will start leaving your prayer. And you won't even realize when it happens. Did you watch part 1 and 2? You learned the revelation. You learned the tafsir. Today, part 3, the practical routine for your real life. I promise you, after these 18-20 minutes, 3 things will start losing their grip. Whispering thoughts, envy, and fear of provision. Your first enemy is not outside. It's your mind, waswasa. In part 2, you learned about kanas. Today, you'll see how it attacks you specifically in prayer. Not every prison has walls. Some are built inside the mind. The moment he stands in prayer, the whisper doesn't come from the room. It comes from inside his head. You're a hypocrite. Your worship won't be accepted. But ask yourself, why does this happen only during prayer? Waswasa means a whisper inside the mind. It steals peace. The one who whispers then hides. When you start a good deed, he comes. When you become heedless, he disappears. Here's something dangerous. Most people think this is weak faith. It's not. This is Shaitan's final weapon. A Hafiz of the Quran. And still, waswasa destroyed his prayer. Every time he prayed, a voice whispered, "You're reciting wrong." 5 years of suffering. The solution? Every time the whisper came, he started reciting. After some time had passed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala changed the state. And peace returned. Listen to this. He wasn't afraid of thieves. He was tested with doubt. Another brother I know, he locked the door. Then the waswasa made him check it again. And again. So he sought Allah's protection. With Surah An-Nas, dua, and firm intention. By Allah's permission, it became easier to pray with calm. If you experience waswasa, comment 1 so I can share the steps. Remember this strategy. Don't argue with the whisper. Seek refuge in Allah and begin the surah.
This isn't just a story, it's a warning. Every time she stood for Salah, a whisper followed her, cold, cunning. It told her, "You're showing off," and she believed it. So her Salah grew shorter, emptier, until she almost stopped praying.
Shaitan didn't tempt her with sin. He poisoned her faith with doubt. He pushed her to chase perfection until she abandoned worship entirely. And not every whisper is your own. Some are traps of Shaitan meant to pull you away. This isn't just a story. It's what happens when you start listening to the whisper instead of turning back to Allah. Picture this: a healthy baby, laughing one moment, crying the next. Doctors find nothing wrong. Why? Allah warns us in Surah Al-Falaq, from the evil of the envier when he envies. Not every harm is visible. Some comes from envy, some from the evil eye. Let me ask you something important. Who can be affected by the evil eye? Anyone, child or adult, strong or weak in Iman. The Prophet ﷺ used to seek protection for his family. He recited Al-Ikhlas, Al-Falaq, and An-Nas, blew gently, and trusted Allah. Not as superstition, but as sunnah. One mother noticed her child struggling for months. Every test was normal, so she returned to consistent dua, ruqya, and reliance upon Allah. With patience and Allah's permission, ease came. The child smiled again. The home felt calm. If you're worried about your child or family, return to the Sunnah tonight. Recite Al-Ikhlas, Al-Falaq, and An-Nas. Seek Allah's protection and place your trust in Him. Everything looked fine on the outside, yet the home felt heavy. Small issues turned into storms. Anger rising without clear reason. At night, peace wouldn't settle, just restlessness and racing thoughts. It wasn't sickness, it wasn't shortage, but emotional and spiritual pressure weighed on the home. By the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they turned back to Him for protection. Night after night, Surah Al-Falaq and Surah An-Nas were recited, seeking Allah's help, not superstition. Slowly, calm began to return. Hearts felt lighter. The home felt more at ease. But one question still remained. Stop for a moment. What do you fear most right now? Losing a job? People's judgment? Provision running out?
Allah reminds us in Surah Al-Ikhlas, Allahu Samad, Allah depends on no one, and everything depends on Him. Feeling fear doesn't make you a disbeliever. But letting fear control you instead of turning to Allah, that's where Iman is tested.
One brother lost his job. He felt fear, but he didn't give up salah or dua. He returned to Allah, trusted Him, and kept searching with patience. Peace came first, and later Allah opened another door of risk, not because of a formula, but because of tawakkul. Marriage delayed, provision tight. Remember, Allah creates, opens, and delays with wisdom. If fear is heavy on your heart tonight, return to the Sunnah. Recite Surah Al-Ikhlas, make sincere dua, and place your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you look closely, you'll notice, before everything begins, something always changes. Not in sight, but in the heart. The beginning wasn't sudden. It came slowly, very slowly. At first, the sounds in the room changed. The fan seemed louder. The ticking clock echoed inside the chest. Then people began to change. The same faces, but not the same. At night, sleep broke. Without a nightmare, eyes opened to find everything in place, yet something still felt wrong. Turning on the light didn't chase away the darkness. It only shifted along the walls. But normal and peace are not the same thing. Then came the whispers. Maybe someone did something. Maybe envy. Those words made the air in the house heavier, as if fear was spreading silently. And fear was no longer outside. It had crept inside the mind. The strangest thing was, the more they tried to understand, the less they remained themselves. One night, everyone was awake. No one spoke, but no one slept either. That's when they realized, the most terrifying evil is the one that pulls a person away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, they decided, no more explanations, no more guessing, no more maybe. They understood, what has no form can only be fought by returning to the one who has no need. Nothing changed suddenly. No sound, no shadow running across the walls. Yet the silence of the night no longer weighed down like before. In the end, they learned, evil works in darkness, but refuge does not need darkness's permission.
Tell me, when you stand for prayer, does a voice whisper inside you, are you praying just to show? No one is watching. No one knows. Yet in sujood, the doubt strikes harder than ever. At first, he kept praying. Then a heavier thought appeared. What if Allah doesn't accept this at all? Shaitan doesn't always push you towards sin. Sometimes he pushes you towards silence. He learns something crucial. Not every doubt is sincerity, and not every fear comes from faith. That's when he understood. His duty was not perfection, but persistence.
Not every attack whispers from within. Some arrive through people's eyes. When Allah opens doors for you, not every heart can handle it. Tension without a reason. Sleep disappears. The body is fine, but the heart feels squeezed.
His mistake was simple. Every new blessing became an announcement. He decided, some blessings will stay private between me and Allah. Fear makes people grab anything, but that's where Tawheed can break. He held on to Quran, proven du'as, and adhkar, and the darkness began to loosen. No sudden miracle, just a quiet shift, as if something heavy slowly stepped away. This time, when he stood to pray, there was no accusation inside, only presence. The voice changed. Not you're fake, but you're weak and still welcome. Fear didn't disappear, but it stopped controlling him. It no longer decided whether he would stand. The same house, once filled with restlessness, now held something else, remembrance. He realized the only one worth fearing was never people, but Allah alone. Now, the question isn't his.
it's yours. Where is your fear still holding you?
Do you think the attack ends there? No. Not every strike comes from within. Some come through people's eyes. Allah began opening doors in his life. Risk improved. The environment changed. Sins reduced. Du'as were answered. Then a strange unrest appeared. Tension at home without reason. Work falling apart. Sleep disappearing. The body was fine, but the heart felt tightly gripped. He understood. When you return to Allah, it's not only shaitan that reacts. Some hearts ignite with envy, and Allah taught us to seek refuge from it.
Now the question turns to you. Where is your fear stuck? Is it in your prayer, where your heart wants to connect, but the mind keeps slipping away? Or is it in people's eyes, that quiet pressure to look perfect, to please, to fit? Or maybe it's in the future, your risk, your marriage, your life ahead.
If your heart whispered, "That's me," drop just one number in the comments. 1 for prayer fear, 2 for people's eyes, 3 for fear of the future. And before you go, say quietly in your heart, "I want to remove fear," and keep returning to Allah.
Fear doesn't always scream. Sometimes it waits. If this story touched you, like it, share it, and stay with us. Next comes Surah Lahab.
Assalamu alaikum. Jazakumullahu khairan.